Good evening. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the Bigger Picture webinar for the evening of Wednesday, the 22nd of January. All right, my disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right. Okay, ES. We made a new high on SPX today. Or you haven't made it yet on ES, but I think it's likely that we are going to do so. However, I am thinking that we're going to see some retracement first, and I think we've got some signs that we might start that today. I was talking in my post today about how unsustainably steep some of the support trend lines were, and a couple of them broke at the close today. So we will see if there's a follow-through and a bit of a retracement, because so far, less so on the futures, but in terms of RTH, this has just been straight up. And if we're ever going to form a pattern on this, we're going to need to see some kind of retracement to establish some more realistic trend lines. A trend line this steep is rarely going to be the end of the move when it breaks. You need to work it up a bit more, and that's what I was saying when I was talking in my post today about it not looking cooked. Okay, notably on ES today though, we failed the sell signal, which had been struggling for days. I thought it might have a shot after, if we hadn't already had a sell signal, we'd have had another one fix here, but that one went too. This has been a strong trend, as we have seen, and I was talking about it in my post. Okay, NQ going higher, likely to go back and retest this high on RTY. We got a possible double bottom here, but I was noting on my on the IWM chart when I wrote the post that we hadn't broken. We tested but not broken the bull flag resistance on it, and I was saying that this wouldn't be a bad time to see a retracement, and I'm thinking we might just get one. We've got a possible double bottom here. It's not as nice as any of the other reversal patterns, but the flag is as nice. So we will see how that goes. But on the YM chart, we've got a double bottom here. This one actually is better, and basically it's got a target up in the 45,000 to 45,500 area, which gets us very close to a retest of the high. This week's 60-minute sell signal has managed so far. We've still got the sell signal on DAX. And we've still got it on the SDX, so if we do see a retracement here, those might actually all make a target. Okay, let's have a look at the RTH charts. Right, let's have a look at SPX first. On an upper band ride, it's been 2 days. So fairly early for an upper band ride. No current negative divergence, and obviously we've made a new all-time high, albeit very marginally. So we've got a potential double top here, which personally I don't think has got much of a shot. But when the head and shoulders broke down and failed, the retest of the all-time high was the target, so that target has been made. All right, on the 60-minute chart, you can see the flag broke up on the head and shoulders, which failed, and both of those had a target up at the retest of the all-time high. I think we're likely to make the ES one, not because I think we usually make the ES one afterwards, because we do sometimes, but sometimes it can be a while later. It's but what I wanted to say was we've got quite a lot of other setups which look as though they're going to make target, and on here, this was one hell of a steep support trend line. Had 3 touches, wasn't bad, but wow. And it was going to break down soon, and this is it breaking down at the close today. Now I'm thinking we might see some retracement. We got a week. The old RSI 14 sell signal failed. We had both RSI 5s and RSI 14 sell signals fix in the afternoon. That's what delivered this break, and that's still open. It's not a lot. But I think we might see a bit of a retracement, and it's about time, really. But what this very, very strong move up and very, very fast move up has told us is this move's probably not done. It's going to need some more. All right, Qs. Almost up at the retest of the high. If you look at the flag, lovely flag, broke up, target at the highs, and likely to make that. Probably in the next few days. In the 15-minute chart, we've got a weak RSI 14 sell signals fixed here too. We haven't broken the support trend line here, but we have broken it on Dow, where we had another very steep trend line, and that has broken at the close. Leaning towards seeing better retracement, another RSI 14 sell signal there. Not a huge amount you can read into those, but I was saying yesterday that we were getting pretty close. We were riding pretty close under the 3SD upper band. Now, the bands are expanding, and those are going up steadily every day. If we were grinding up, we'd probably never reach it. even if we didn't retrace. But it's not a bad time to be looking for a retracement. Let's have a look at IWM. IWM on the daily chart. Again, we've been flirting with the 3SD upper band. I've actually got the 3SD upper band at 232.22. The high today was at 229.85. Pretty close, not a hit, but pretty close. Not a bad time to be seeing a bit of a retracement, and time for that Bollinger Band to expand out. So this has been a very, very fast move and very, very, very steep. So a bit of a retracement would be good. You can't make bricks without straw, or at least you couldn't in Egypt, in ancient Egypt. But equally, you can't make patterns without retracements. This sort of thing, where there's no real visible retracement at all, isn't a lot for me to work with, and it's certainly nothing where I would be saying the move would be about to end. Generally, you would require more. All right, on the hourly chart, no divergence. You can see here, this is the best draw. This is the only decent draw, really, of the IWM flag. I drew it a few days ago, and as you can see, we were testing the resistance on it today. That needs to break if we're going to see a retest of the all-time high. I'm thinking it's going to, but I was remarking today in my post that this wouldn't be a bad time to see some retracement, but I thought it would break up afterwards. We've got a little double bottom breaking up here. It's not bad. It's not awesome. But that would take us up potentially within spitting distance of the high, and this flag, if it breaks up, the target would be at a retest of the high. So that would be a good fit. On the 15-minute chart, we again lost the support trend line here. So we lost it on 3 out of the 4. And I'm thinking that might get us a bit of retracement. I think it's going to be a bullish retracement. I think when we get to the bottom, it's going to be a buy. But I think pretty decent chance we see a retracement tomorrow. All right, DAX, even if it's just a morning retracement, as long as it gets a bit of distance. DAX, another day shooting for the stars. So this is really, we've moved really away from, this was the long-term trend line for a long time. This was a high in 2015, and it took a long time to get through that. And then I drew a possible alternative, and we've gone through that. We've clearly just moved away from this original pattern at all. So I'm going to return it to here. I don't have this. I think this is probably part of a larger pattern, but because the retracement didn't respect this. If this had been respected on the back test, then I'd be talking about a potential target an awful lot higher. But in my experience, if you come back beyond this trend, back on this trend line when you're breaking up from a rising megaphone, then you can't really expect it to go the full distance. I have shown ones in the past. There was an SPX one that broke up in 2013, and I gave it target a lot higher, and we reached it about a year and a half later. I'm not thinking that this pattern is the same. All right, Nikkei. We've seen more juice. We're back over the daily middle band. I'm still very skeptical, given how weak this has been, relatively weak the last few days. I'm very skeptical about getting to 42.4K unless we really go a lot higher on the US indices. All right, great. Let's have a look at DX. Okay, DX. We've got a possible head and shoulders, which is breaking down, but we've got down to the perfectly level neckline option, and I'm wondering if we're going to see a rally here. We've got a possible weak 60-minute buy signal brewing. It looks nice. It looks decent. I'm wondering if we do a right shoulder high and then go down. We've got quite a lot of negative divergence on the daily chart. I'll be going through that in a minute. On ZB, looks like a little bull flag and going higher. A lot of people are saying that rates are going down now, and that's the way it's going to be. And actually, I don't think that's true at all. I think the real test on bonds has yet to come, but I'll talk about that on the TNX chart. Let's go to that now. Well, let's go to US dollar first. All right, US dollar. On DX, we've now got, we had a possible RSI 14 sell signal brewing. We've now got an RSI 14 sell signal, and it's fixed. The RSI 5 sell signal has just made target. We've broken through the rising support. I'm liking the downside here. It's we've reached a possible head and shoulder neckline. You could draw it that the right shoulder's already been made, but I don't think that's right. I think if we're going to form a right shoulder, we're probably going to form it now, and we're seeing some positive divergence I was showing you on the hourly chart. All right, TNX. TNX, we've got a rising wedge here, and I'm thinking we may well be heading down towards the rising support trend line in the 44 area, and that's significantly below, and obviously that'll be quite a drop from the original 48. Not as much, obviously, as heading up 12 to 48, but dropping 3, dropping 4 is a decent move. But I'm thinking this is just a bullish retracement, and chances are we're going to go higher. And the reason for that is that we had a really nice looking bull flag here, and it broke up. And what's the target on a bull flag? It's the previous high, 49.97, and we haven't made that yet. And I think there's a pretty good chance we're going to make it. Also, there's bigger things happening this year. I'm going to publish a post hopefully within the next couple of weeks. So I've had a lot of children back and preparation for their exams and all this sort of stuff, and I've been distracted. But I'm going to get a couple of posts out on my next two. Are going to be on the US dollar and on bonds. Now, bonds, I think we can have a very, very, very interesting year because debt is very, very high. And there's a lot of plans of tax cuts and spending increases, mainly. And that's going to be a problem, I think. I mean, really, I think on the most indebted countries in the world in terms of debt as a proportion of GDP, the US is now number 16, and that is not a position of honor. Almost everyone above them on that list has interest rates of 6% or above, and that's because if you owe that much more money, then you have to pay an interest rate which reflects the increased risk that your lenders are not going to get it back. Now, it might seem silly to talk about that in the context of the US, but this applies to everybody. It's so the only exception, really, I'd say, is Japan, who have this utterly weird system. But also, they nationalized their national postal system, so they basically borrowed a lot of the reserves in there, which were huge. All right, TNX. If we see retest this high, this is a potential double top, and obviously it could come down with. And if it broke down and made target, that would actually have a target in about the year 20 area. But there is a possibility it could go up. If we see if President Trump has the ability to put his spending plans into practice, and if he actually puts his campaign promises into practice, then the debt's going to go up further significantly, and there's not going to be any real plan for how that will change later. And I think we might well be looking, I was talking about this a couple of months ago, we might well be looking at a situation where there will be a full bond market revolt. Interest rates go up multiple percent, and the bond market only calms down when the government comes up with a plan which actually involves getting their money back at some stage. So if that happens, I've got a possible IHS here. It's not the greatest quality, but it's got a target to the 8.1 area, and that 8.1 area is the 50% retracement of the move down between, I think, 1981 and 2020. This 39-year bond market bull market in bonds and bear market in bond yields. And that would be the 50%. Is a very attractive target. We've got an IHS target going there, and we may well be seeing some serious bond trouble this year. I am not ruling out the possibility we see that this year or next year. I think it's a real possibility, because there's really no plan. The national debt's been going up and up and up and up and up. No one's had any real plan for doing it, dealing with it, and someone's going to need to have a plan soon. Or the bond market. I mean, I remember 30 years ago, people used to talk about the bond market vigilantes. Bill Clinton was terrified of them, and they've been very supine for a long time now. But the fact is, it's not the Fed who controls interest rates. And actually, since they reduced rates 0.5%, real interest rates, which is actually TNX, the 10-year rate. This is what mortgages are based on, and the 30-year yield. Real interest rates have gone up over 1%. And what I was saying on a post just before they cut those rates was that the Fed needs to be careful to preserve the illusion that they actually control interest rates. What they don't want to do is get too far away in their official interest rate from what the bond market is actually delivering out on the street. So we'll see. Anyway, I've got a post coming about that. I'll have a post about the dollar, which I'm hoping to have out this week or this weekend, and we'll see. But I think that market target, that is going to be made, and then I think we got a big inflection point there, and we could well find that we go up 2 or 3% from there. That wouldn't surprise me at all. What would happen to the stock market while that happened? It would probably go down. Although, to be honest, on events like this, you can find the unexpected happens. But generally speaking, I would expect it to go down. All right, let's have a look at oil. Now, oil is an interesting one. I'll show you why on the daily chart. We've got a possible head and shoulders here, which is broken down with the target in the 72.4 area. And I think this target may well be made. I'm no longer looking for the triangle target at 63.57, but I am expecting that we're going to see some retracement here and some consolidation, and you'll see why when I show you the daily chart. On NG, I'm thinking we may well see some too, and I think we may well be forming, hang on one second. Sorry, I'll just show you with a trend line. I hadn't put this in earlier for some reason. It's if you look here, you will see. There we are. That is a very nice looking potential head and shoulders. I'm thinking that also may break down. If that breaks down and makes a target, that would have a target in about the 2.85, 2.9 area. That again wouldn't surprise me. Not because of the bigger picture this year with the president talking about lowering energy prices and so on and so forth, just because we've had a big move up and we're kind of overdue retracement. And at the moment, as we've been saying in almost every the bigger picture in recent months, we've got a seasonal weak period, basically between December and April, and we usually make some kind of a low there, and I'm thinking this might be the move that leads to that low. Now, we don't get that absolutely every year, but we usually get it. All right, CL. CL, weak RSI 14 sell signal fixed, RSI 5 sell signal fixed, breaking through rising support. Just saying, there is a decent reason to believe that we may well see a retracement here. We've come back and we are testing the 200 DMA, and obviously that is significant support. But if we can break that down through that, then it can go significantly further. I've got the daily middle band at 73.72, and I've got this head and shoulder target. There we go. Bear with me. I've got a head and shoulder target in about 72.5 area. So I'm looking for more downside here if we can get through the 200 DMA, but we've certainly got sell signals on the daily chart which are suggesting that we're going to get through the 200 DMA, at least for a while. Let's have a look at the NG chart there. Hang on. All right, NG, no current divergence, but we got this head and shoulders forming, and I've now had this weak RSI 14 sell signal has been forming for a month, and it's finally fixed. Yes, this has actually been brewing, thick end of a month, and it finally fixed today. So I'm leaning forward to seeing more downside on that. I'd like to see this go below the rising support, which I've got in about the 3.55 area, but I think it's still a pretty good shot at getting to 2.8. We don't have a daily sell signal for that apart from on the RSI 5, but this one is only a weak sell signal, but I think my feeling is it's probably going to deliver. All right, GC. GC, I'm liking, if we're going to see more downside on the dollar, and I think after a bit of a rally, we're probably going to see more downside on the dollar, then I'm liking this for a retest to high, and I've got more reasons to like that I will show you on the daily chart. SI, this looks like a bull flag forming probably, and I'm leaning towards seeing more upside on that. HG, this is a slight problem, but it could reject because this has now broken down. So let me draw in the arrows. All right, HG, I was talking about this in my I can't remember what I was. It might have been too early for me to be talking about this in the last bigger picture a couple of days ago, but I was talking this morning on the pre-market webinar. I was talking about this possible head and shoulders for me, and the head and shoulders has now broken down, and that's broken down with the target in the 4.075 area, just below the monthly pivot. I'm thinking that has a shot. It's got there's a weak 60 minutes buy signal that is fixed, but it hasn't really been doing a great deal so far. That's a nice looking head and shoulders. Now, the alternative is, of course, it could just reject back up to high, and that would fit better with what I'm expecting metals to do. But this is a nice looking pattern, and it's got a shot at making target, and we will see. All right, let's have a look at those on the bigger picture charts. All right, GC. Possible RSI 5 sell signal brewing on the daily. Not taking that too seriously, particularly as, but we could see that deliver. But what I would say is this was a bullish consolidation triangle, and it was quite a nice one actually. A, B, C, D, E, and go. What's the target for that? A retest of the all-time high at 28.2630. I'm expecting to see that. Generally speaking, this kind of pattern would make target. Now, sometimes you might see a deep retrace and then do it, but likelihood is it is going to make target. Same flag, still very nice, even nicer actually, on the gold daily chart, and it hasn't made the target yet, but I'm expecting it to. All right, SI. No current divergence. Looks kind of like there's head and shoulders that is broken down, but it could be read as a bull flag. And I'm thinking it probably is a bull flag, but we haven't broken up from it yet. Once we do, I'd be looking for a target of 35.07. Looking at SI, pretty similar, except on here we are starting to break up from it, or very, very close to doing so. On palladium, we've got a double bottom that broke up. I was having some doubts as to whether this would make target. It didn't seem too enthusiastic, but I was saying that really I wasn't seeing much reason to think this wouldn't make target, and the target was at 1,020. Reached 1,010 today, so it's almost there. We did have, sorry, I marked that wrong one. I'm actually meant to. That was a possible sell signal, and what I meant to do was write in there's no current divergence. We just lost the negative divergence. So that's good news for bulls. And I'm expecting it to go. I've got a target at least a little bit higher. And if gold goes into a retest of the all-time high and goes higher, then I've got a potential larger pattern here. Maybe a pot-formed IHS, might be an asymmetric double bottom. I've got resistance in the 1055 area, and that could well break up. All right. Let's have a look at the platinum chart. Here, I don't really have much to say apart from this wedge broke up and has backtested and held. Do I have a reversal pattern? I got to go with no. I don't. It's could this be an IHS for me? Actually, yes. But the IHS would look like, hang on, the IHS would look like this. Is that a bit oversized? Maybe. Bear with me a second. All right, got it. All right, that's what it looks like. But my concern here is that it might be a bit oversized, and let's just examine that. Because the more oversized it is, it's oversized when the target is goes beyond the origin of the pattern, and the origin of the pattern is the top of the previous trend. So if you look at this one here, where would the target be? It would be there. And really, that's somewhat oversized. I've seen ones like that make target before, but I'm not sure they're inverse head and shoulder patterns. Nonetheless, I've got it in the mix. I'll leave in the arrows, but really, on a target like this, this is your target. The target never really goes beyond the retest of the previous high. Obviously, price can go significantly higher than that, but that's where the IHS target is at maximum, and it never really goes beyond it. Okay, copper. Copper, keeping an open mind, no daily divergence. Nice looking little head and shoulders here, which has broken down. We've got a bigger double bottom here, which is looking for targets in the 4.6 to 4.65 area, but I am wondering if this is going to play out first. It broke down today. We shall see. GDX, we've got a nice looking double bottom here. We've broken up from the wedge. No current. Oh no, we've got a weak RSI 14 sell signal fixed. But I'm looking for double bottom resistance at 38.72. What's that looking at on GDXJ? Well, it's broken up, but this isn't a double bottom. This came too high, so it is just too large to be a double bottom. But nonetheless, I think both of these look like bull flags. They've broken up and they can go significantly higher. So we shall see. All right, great. Let's have a look at, well, I just want to have a quick look at currencies here very quickly. Just in terms of looking at where we are likely to see the dollar go next. Here, we've got a possible IHS, which I've marked up and has broken up. I'm not sure this is going to be the final IHS. I think the dollar might be about to make a right shoulder here. I think we might be about to do an alternative right shoulder here on Euro USD as well. but I've marked in the arrows for if the current one is, because it's better quality than the one on DNX. GBP/USD, this again could be an IHS which is broken up. And here, I'm not really thinking it would be forming another right shoulder. Possibly with a trend line here, but I think this pattern actually would be nicer with better defined shoulders. USD/JPY maybe breaking down for a double top. USD CAD, another double top. USD Australian dollar, double bottom. NZ/USD, double bottom. You guys are seeing a theme develop here, aren't you? And that is that there are a whole load of patterns suggesting that the dollar might well be going down significantly further. And of course, we've got the sell signals to back that up. KC, we've actually made some progress today towards the bull market. The bull flag target. I've got that in the 348 area and finally made it up to 342.90. Hopefully, it can finally get this over with. SB, I was saying this morning that we're down in the support area and we might set up another buy setup, and actually we have. I'll show you on the daily charts. On CC, this was a very nice triangle that turned into a messy triangle, but nonetheless a triangle, and that's broken up. And again, I would expect that to see a retest of the high here up in about the 12,950 area. On wheat, wheat made the double bottom target, the initial one. I had my doubts. I was saying yesterday morning I was about to give up hope, and then it moved. It was waiting, clearly. So it's made that target, and the big resistance up here is up in about the 570 area, and this could be an inverted head and shoulder neckline. In fact, this could be the start of it now. I'm wondering if we might be about to form that. On corn, looks like we may be forming a little retracement. We've got a little double top here, which is starting to break down. Soy, we've got a very nice looking double top here. I'm not sure I'm convinced this is actually going to break down and get back down to about the 968 area, but I think it's got a shot. And I'm thinking we may well see a retracement on all three of them at the moment. We've also got, I haven't marked it in here, we've got a weak sell signal, 60-minute sell signal has fixed. All right, cotton. Cotton double bottom, broke up, had some nice support from divergence, and is going back to retest the low anyway. Lumber. Not sure at all what's happening here, but it looks at the moment as though it's going to come back and retest this low. That may not be the case. I'm really not seeing an obvious pattern forming here. On DAX, sorry, not DAX, on live cattle. Live cattle went back and retested the high. This double top failed. We've got another potential larger double top. But we will see. We never quite made the target here, so we've still got a 60-minute sell signal fixed. But at this stage, I am losing confidence in it happening. But I was saying this looked like a bull flag forming, and off to the races. Okay, HE. HE is maybe heading back towards the lows here. No current positive divergence, but I was thinking this was just a retracement. But if that had been the case, it really should have stopped about the 87.5 to 88 area, and it didn't. So I'm wondering if we might see a retest of the low. We shall see. All right, great. Let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. KC. RSI 14 sell signal fixed. Nonetheless, we had a very nice flag here. I was expecting it to make target, but I am wondering if this might be a double top to take us down further afterwards. We shall see. But it's now getting towards that target. Likely make it soon. SB, we had buy signals fail, and we've now got new ones which are formed. We've got a possible RSI 14 buy signal brewing, and we've got a possible RSI 5 buy signal brewing, and arguably they made target yesterday, but I'm going to wait till tomorrow to call it. But these are good support, and you can see what I mean about a support area here. This, I think, has a decent shot of finally making it. So I've got declining resistance in the 18.6 area, and we will see how that goes. On CC, this is broken up, and we should see a retest of this high here at 12,931, unless this morphs into a large pattern. On wheat, RSI 14 buy signal is fixed. Double bottom was broken up, and it's funny, that one's made target, I thought. No, there's a little double bottom there. Sorry, it's all about scale because there's about 3 options here. Okay, so we are breaking up from the second one, working up towards the third. I've got another line up here. Overall, though, this could be a big low. I mean, wheat has come down from 772 to 526. I think we might be looking at a big reversal back up here. I would love to see that. On corn, no current divergence. This did look as though it might be a bear flag for quite a while, and no longer does look as though it is. I'm looking at the possible IHS neckline in the 508.2 area. On soy, no current divergence, but obviously nice looking double top. We got a possibility of a significant reversal here. Again, on the bigger picture, I'm looking at the possible double bottom resistance or the possible part formed IHS in the 1120 area. On CT, we've got a weak RSI 5 buy signal effect, and I really thought this double bottom was going to make target, but it's failing back into the low. So we'll see how that goes. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap. So in that case, I will catch you guys again on Sunday. And take care, and it should be an interesting rest of the week, I think.